This is Jeff Stone of Grandpa's Pride Barbecue from the Panhandle of Florida, and you are listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Hey, good evening, and welcome to the really big Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things that are important to the world of barbecue and grilling. The show originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evening's live fire fun and frivolity show. If you would like to get in contact with the show this evening, or more importantly, you'd like to follow the show during off-show hours, here's how you do that.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at bbqcentralshow.com. Follow us on all the social media channels at BBQ Central Show. And be sure to subscribe to the show podcast feed on your favorite podcast platform.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you get the newsletter coming up in about 12 minutes from now. The first Tuesday of a brand new month, that being July. That means 2024 rapidly coming to a close. The pitmaster of Killer Hogs competition team, frontman for How to Barbecue Right, Malcom Reed. Many different topics to talk about with, I never say that. Many topics to discuss with Malcom this evening. So we'll try to get to all of those, but typically I line out more than what we actually have time for, but that's fine because some of that stuff moves to the following month. So excited to catch up with Malcom because we missed him last month. 35 past the hour. By the way, we missed him, my fault. First time to the show, and somebody who I feel is the leading authority on what I call open fire cooking. You may or may not have heard of him, and of course you have. It's Al Frugoni for the first time. Big Al joining the show, so we'll talk about his background, going from Argentina, making a pit stop overseas, eventually working his way to Texas, and all the fun stuff that's happened in between, and some of the products that he has going out. He also has a big event going on in October that we'll talk about towards the end, so looking forward to meeting and talking some live fire with Al Frugoni. Then we'll move to the second hour because it is the second hour of the first Tuesday of the month. Much like Malcom in the first hour, our pal Sam, the cooking guy, shows up 14 past. And as we missed Malcom because of me last month, we also missed Sam, so plenty to catch up with when it comes to Sam and what he's been cooking. He also took a trip to Hong Kong. From the last time that we talked to him, he released a video of that recap and what he was eating everywhere that he was eating in Hong Kong this past Friday. So if you missed it, go back and check it out. And we'll talk about that as well. And then closing the show this evening, a late ad. It was originally open, but after hearing his most recent podcast, I thought we'd have him come on and talk a little bit more about it. Rashid Phillips from Phillips Barbecue Co. And tonight we dive into barbecue television, what it's like to be a contestant, what the expectations of new contestants probably are, what they should be, and what they should be preparing for as these shows get ready to air their latest seasons, that being Barbecue Brawl and Barbecue Showdown, Brawl on Food Network and Showdown on Netflix. And, of course, Rashid was a part of that contestant group in the very first season of Barbecue Showdown during the pandemic. That's where I fell in love with him for the first time and found out about him. I often wonder if he was never on that show and I never watched that, would I know who Rasheed Phillips is? I don't know. I can't say that definitively like some of the other folks that I know. But certainly that show put him on the map for me and probably a host of others. So excited to talk with him about that particular topic this evening, and that's how the show lays out. Malcom Reed, Al Frugoni, first hour, Sam the Cooking Guy, and Rasheed Phillips, second hour. Don't forget, you can follow me socially, Insta, X, TikTok, Snapchat, and LinkedIn, all at the handle at BBQ Central Show. And we say good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of our video streaming platforms. You can go to facebook.com/BBQ Central Show or twitter.com/BBQ Central Show, or you can watch it on YouTube, which is youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show. And there's also a YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody. Sounds a little something like this, and we'll ask all guests as well. Did you sign up for the Z Grills promotion? And currently, wow, this is shocking in the early running, 100% of the voters are saying, I did not sign up for the Z Grills promotion. You didn't? Come on! Why didn't you? Free grills for the next 50 years? You don't want that? For $770 initial purchase and then $100 shipping you the brand new grill in 5 years? Come on. You're missing out. But 100% of you are saying no, you're not taking any part of it. Results from the poll last week. I asked if you were going to watch the newest season of Barbecue Showdown on Netflix. 68% of you said, yeah, you're going to do that. You're going to do that starting Thursday night. They're airing that on July 4th. Let's pick a great barbecue show and air it on the worst day possible. I get it. It's a big barbecue day, but in the evening when it's released, I don't know how they release it. But if it's at night, you're going to watch that? You're going to be half in the bag. Who are you kidding? Do you have work on Friday? Did you take the day off on Friday? Let's start here tonight because for the third time in as many weeks, the word of hot dog eating continues to bring straight fire as it relates to content, especially to this show, because I might be the only guy, aside from my pal Steve Ray from Ooltewah, Tennessee, talking about this topic or looking for updates, or both. Resident good guy and lover of America, Joey Chestnut, while still currently banned from Nathan's Famous Eating this coming Thursday, he will be eating Schween's on the 4th, so rest assured. However, he will be doing it alongside his new competition, a bunch of Army soldiers based out of Fort Bliss in Texas. Safe to say there's no real competition when it comes to eating on Thursday. However, a great sign of patriotism that Joey is showing by going to Fort Bliss and spending some time with the troops, doing what Joey does best, eating hot dogs. I'm not sure if they will run at the same time as the main event in Brooklyn. There aren't specific details to what's happening in Texas at this time or that I've seen, but it's good to see that he will be doing some kind of hot dog consumption, and hopefully he times it to the 10-minute mark and goes for a new record. That's crucial, I think. So it appears that there will be no salvage of Major League Eating and Jaws for July 4th, a magical reunion, which is continues to be absurd to me, that there is so much pettiness going on between Major League Eating and what has to be in conjunction with Nathan's Famous Hot Dogs, and also on Joey's side that they can't figure out a way to put this together and have a real July 4th hot dog eating contest, because who cares about July 4th eating when Joey isn't there in perfect eating shape? But Joey did say in an interview that he hopes to be back in Brooklyn next year, but the Impossible Dog sponsorship is still a sticking point, so something will have to give between now and then. And if Major League Eating, or if I were Major League Eating, I would work out a deal with Joey specifically to try and lock him up for this event for years to come, and there needs to be options to adjust. Joey cannot continue to eat at this pace forever, and he shouldn't. And he shouldn't have to forfeit money or legacy because of a fake meat hot dog sponsorship that you don't like. By the way, this snaps his streak of consecutive wins. I'm a bit surprised that it doesn't appear to hold more value to Joey to keep this streak alive. That's shocking. In any event, if you need to see Joey eat Thursday, well, I doubt there's going to be any actual live TV coverage of it in Fort Bliss. He will be doing a hot dog eating contest in Texas, and I'm sure it will be on the internet sooner than later, seeing all those soldiers try and cram down hot dog for hot dog with Joey Chestnut. I mean, what's the over-under with any soldier at this point? Can they do 10 hot dogs in 10 minutes? When you throw out raw numbers, Joey Chestnut has eaten 74 or 75 hot dogs and buns. So 10 seems like anybody could do it when you're comparing it to 7. Have you ever tried to eat 10 hot dogs in 10 minutes? You ever tried to eat 5 hot dogs in a couple minutes? That's tough. Hot dogs, the biggest prover of law of diminishing return ever. In any event, we will keep our eyes on July 4th, and there will probably be a Tuesday next week where I talk about hot dog eating in some form or fashion for the 4th week in a row. Malcom Reed is in the green room. He might have a take on hot dog eating contests. Who knows? The Members Mark Pro Series Grill is here, available in Sam's Clubs near you. A thermostatic gas grill that was thoughtfully designed and engineered with materials specifically selected for their durability and performance. The Firebox was designed to deliver the ultimate in heat retention, durability, and premium corrosion resistance. Every detail of the cooking system has been fine-tuned to ensure superior and consistent cooking performance, including heavy-gauge cooking grates, powerful 304 stainless steel burners, and weatherproof channel electronic ignition system that offers the most reliable ignition in the industry across all levels. Members Mark Pro Series with thermostatic control, patented, now available at your local Sam's Club store. In fact, Tennessee embedded correspondent Matt Osmond was in his local Sam's Club just the other day, and he ran across it in the wild. Messaged me separately, said, can't talk. It's as sexy as you said it was. Yes, I know. In fact, I did these small little chicken breast strips. They call them tenders. I don't know, 10 minutes tops. Couple 3-4 minutes on each side, running at a high heat, got some nice color on them. Used that Pits and Spit steak rub on the chicken. That was magical. And away we go. So you can use it. I used it as the regular grill, but if you want to use it as a thermostatically controlled cooking vessel, you have the option of doing that as well. Once again, only available at your local Sam's Club store. So check it out. We'll be back with Malcom Reed right after this.
You're listening to the BBQ Central Show. Broadcasting live from the BBQ Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the BBQ Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by cookinpellets.com, your number one source for quality wood pellets for all your pellet-driven cookers. Once you find out what you want to buy, go to these websites for great shipping rates on top of the great selection, Amazon.com, Walmart.com, or Lowe's.com. All selling Cookin' Pellets products for great shipping rates. Chris Becker and the gang over there at Cookin' Pellets. My next guest can be found right here the first Tuesday of the month, 14 past the first hour. He can also be found on the YouTubes, where 1.7 million of you are already subscribed to him and watching his great cooking videos and getting techniques and tips. It's our pal Malcom Reed. Malcolm, we have a YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, and it's pretty specific. So if you haven't caught up on the most recent shows, it might be a little over your head, but you're in the know on what's going on in live fire. Did you sign up for the Z Grills promotion?
No, I didn't.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't think I need a. Yeah, they're giving what are they replacing your grill? They're giving you a new grill every 5 years for the rest of your life or something like that.
$777.
Sounds like a good deal.
Yes, I mean it's less than $1,000. And by the way, if you go on this is not a commercial for Z Grills, but if you go on their website, you can actually upgrade out of the one that they recommend, which is $777. So I think it goes all the way up to something shy of $1,300. But you buy that one, and then every 5 years. You get a brand new grill, sans, well, you got to pay $100 for the shipping, but you get a brand new grill for the next 50 years. So that's a pretty good deal, all things considered.
Pretty good deal. I've never cooked on, put my hands on one of those, but I've seen them,
They used to make Traeger
they're made
grills
overseas.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like, when you look at them, it looks like they're clones of other grills on the market, and I'm sure they're, just knocked them off or something.
They are the manufacturer.
Or they made them first.
Yes, they are the manufacturer for a lot of other brands that they, what's my guy called? White labeling or whatever the hell it's called. So they own the manufacturing, which everybody was like, how could this possibly be something that they could support for any amount of time? Because they're thinking what a normal grill company would be. But a lot of these grill companies aren't the manufacturer. They are contracting with Z-Grill to make it. Since they own everything in-house, evidently, this is something that they can support, and for the folks that are jumping on it, potentially for the next 50 years, every 5 years, they're going to get a brand new version of whatever grill they got. So I'm kind of excited to see how that tracks out. 4th of July menu for the Reed household coming in 48 hours.
Man, we're going to have some of those colossal dogs. You can't have 4th of July without having a hot dog, right? I heard you talking about it on the intro there, man. You got to have a hot dog on 4th of July. In
your best hot dog eating shape, how many do you think you could put back in 10 minutes realistically?
So we had, I don't know if you remember, it's been a couple of years ago, we did a Wiener Fest here at the shop, and we had a hot dog eating contest. And I was just watching, I didn't compete. I was kind of hosting or whatever. And it was about 5 minutes we went. And I was like, man, surely these guys can eat a dozen hot dogs in 5 minutes. I think it was like 6. And they were going at it. So, I mean, I'm making, 5 or 6. It's so much chewing and so much bread on you in the time frame. It doesn't sound like it's a lot. You say, half dozen hot dogs. I think that many, But I'd rather do the one where you go to a ball game and you drink a beer and eat a hot dog every inning. And see if I could do that for 9 dogs and 9 beers.
I was going to say, that sounds like 9 beers, and that sounds also like a recipe for vomiting.
It's 3 hours. You can take your time on that.
Wow. Yeah, wow. I don't know. I think in my heyday, wow. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever eaten any more than 3 hot dogs in one sitting in my life. And that third one, I was begging for forgiveness. First one is always great. Second one is never as good. The third one is like, oh, why did I even do the second one, let alone that third one? So I don't know. It ain't for me. So I'm wondering, does anybody famous folks or rich folks or whatever that don't want to be messing around on 4th of July, do you ever get contacted and say, hey, Malcolm, can we contract you to come out? We'll chase the Gulf Stream over to Hernando and fly out to Jackson Hole or wherever the hell they are and have you cook for us for 4th of July? You ever get invited to do that stuff?
I've never had that opportunity, but I'd entertain it. if you know somebody with a jet.
Yeah, I know a lot of people with jets.
Cooler.
Yeah, I've seen people, I don't want to ruffle feathers, but I've seen people way less popular than a Malcom Reed, certainly well less qualified, going on all kinds of extravagant trips and getting flown around, or maybe they're given first-class airfare and all the logistics are taken care of. But certainly it's not at your expense. And then they get to hang out with, a bunch of socialites or whatever. I mean, it's not necessarily my thing, but for a lot of people that might be interesting. I'm shocked to hear that nobody's ever reached out. You seem like you would be the first person.
Yeah, I've had some opportunity, but it's been more for like classes. Teaching somebody to cook something, not just entertaining, but I'll entertain all offers. I like those checks.
Yeah, right. I love checks too. About 5 days ago or so, you posted a new video doing direct heat cook ribs on the Primo, and I think a lot of us, not from the South, had this type of rib experience growing up, which is like the direct fire, at least in my generation. Is this something that you had growing up in the South, or were the majority of your ribs more that traditional Southern style smoked rib?
I mean, growing up, I would say more often we had smoked ribs. They weren't, it wasn't a lot of char grilled like that. I've had them. I'd had them a few times, but that was kind of like a rendezvous style. They're known for that. Their rib is more of a Greek inspired rib, and they, it's barbecue to an extent, but it's cooked really far over charcoal, and so it's not direct grilled, but it has more of that direct grilled flavor. And that's kind of what gave me the idea. I did a recipe where it was like my Greek rib, and I used different flavors, used a Greek seasoning, and made kind of a vinaigrette that I basted them with and stuff like that. And I only charred them at the very end. And I was like, man, what would it be like if I cooked these on that Primo over the live fire, just burn them and turn them the whole time, keep an eye on them, every 10 minutes flip them. And they were really, really good. Now, it's not the same as a slow smoked slab of ribs, but the flavor is fantastic.
How much different, I'm asking you to speculate, of course, but how much different would those ribs have been if you do everything the same, but you change up the Primo and go to a gas grill?
I think you probably, either whether you're cooking over a lump or briquette, it gives you a certain flavor. I think you would sacrifice some of that charcoal flavor from it. That'd still be a good eating rib because, you mentioned that Members Mark grill. I actually got one of those too, and I did a rib recipe on it, cooking them on that grill, and they were good. I mean, I see where if you don't have a smoker or if you're kind of novice and that's, you're just familiar with cooking on a propane grill, why you would like doing those on that, because it tastes like pork. You taste the actual meat more than you taste the charcoal flavor or that grilled flavor. You can cook a fine slab of ribs on it. They get tender. I wrapped them. I got them tender. I did the whole 9 yards, just like a rib recipe on it on a propane grill. And I was impressed with those too. They're pretty dang good. It's a good eating rib.
Higher temperatures, if we go back to the Primo, because you were running around, was it 300 plus ish? 350?
Yeah, it's 350 on the dial, but where I was cooking was probably a little hotter than that because I was right over the coals.
Higher temperatures are usually a kryptonite for rubs that have a fairly large sugar content. They'll burn over time, of course. What's the rub strategy for a direct cook?
I went light. And I call it my hot rub. It's not super hot, but it has just a lot less sugar in it. It's not a sweet rub at all. And so I knew that if I would put something with a lot of sugar on there, or if I basted it with something sweet, it's going to burn up on you cooking them that hot. So I just kept the seasoning light, but I made, it's kind of a copy of an Alabama sauce. They call 3-2-1 sauce as a Bishop sauce, but basically it's vinegar, salt, cayenne pepper, and a little lemon juice. And you mix all that up. And so if you think about it, it's a kicked up vinegar. And that's what I basted with the entire time. Well, you got so much flavor from that salt and the pepper and a little bit of the citrus and the vinegar notes that I was adding flavor every time I mopped it. And so that's where I picked it up, and I kept from over seasoning it, doing it that way. I didn't have to add anything else. And I definitely didn't need any sauce at the end.
And from a color standpoint at the end, nothing offensive, or let me re-ask
they were beautiful.
The color was acceptable, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it had a little char to it, but you expect that when you're cooking right over coals. It's not a competition slab by any means. They're not picture perfect. They're going to have, you want that meat, what's that called, Greg? You probably the Maillard reaction or whatever it is, where meat browns and it gets that Maillard, Maillard reaction. I get all my words screwed up like that, but that's what you want, and that's where the flavor is. That's right. But yeah, and I liked them. I think, maybe call it artisan ribs because they're not perfect. They've got some char. The edges might burn up a little bit on them, but I would say don't knock them till you try them. Just a grilling rib like that, and it's something different than eating just sweet smoked barbecue.
So from a flavor profile standpoint, if you were to switch out lump for charcoal or vice versa, do just switching the two fuels give you two different flavor profiles, or will they be roughly the same?
That's a good question. I don't know if I could pick out the difference of cooking over the charcoal versus the lump. The one thing I like about the lump is that I can put it out in that primo and I can fire it back up the next cook, because I really didn't know how long these ribs were going to take to cook from start to finish, but I assumed it was going to be a lot faster because I'm right there over the coals. And it was like hour 20, hour 30. They were completely done.
Wow.
And I had plenty of coal in there. I just closed it up and I used it the next day to cook some more stuff. But advantage-wise on flavor, I don't know if you're going to get lump's going to give you a better flavor than a briquette. I think, to me, it's more of the heat and how I can restart the coals.
So this is the key question of the evening for me, because I'm always self-indulgent at some point in an interview. My house is very discerning on charcoal flavor perfuming of meat. So how much of a charcoal flavor stays on the rib compared to the other flavors you put on it?
Not like you would think. I mean, I would say I would kin it to how much charcoal flavor you get in a steak when you cook a steak over coals, or if you cook chicken over it. It's not, predominant. It's not heavy. I didn't add any extra wood or anything. Now, hindsight, looking back, I would probably, quarter up some onion and put in there, maybe some whole garlic, maybe a chunk or two of wood, just to add a little more of, a little more flavor to it, because it wasn't strong. It wasn't, it wasn't like a strong, really grilled flavor at all. I mean,
you ever thought about opening a restaurant?
If I wouldn't want to have to work it all the time. If I could just open a day or two a week, maybe, I love feeding people. I love doing all that. But I said, if I have to be a slave to it, because, restaurateurs, man, this is not a 40-hour a week work week. They're working 80, 120 hours to do a restaurant. It's not an easy job. But I love cooking. I love sharing when I cook with people. I could see myself doing that.
What about if somebody approaches you and says, let's license the name How to Barbecue Right, and Malcom, you have a large input and say on what the recipes and the menu is going to look like, but from a day-to-day standpoint, you're more hands-off. We'll give you 3-4 points off the gross every month, and we'll put together a deal like this. You'd be a little bit more interested in that versus having your own?
I'm entertaining all deals, Greg. But yeah, I would say quality is the main thing, though, man. I would want whatever I put my name on. I would want it to be, up to a standard quality. And if I thought it was doing that, I could see myself doing something like that. I could travel around and pop in and out and hang out and make sure the beer's cold and all that. Make sure the food's good and
right.
Shake hands and shake hands and kiss babies, whatever you do as a barbecue politician.
Yeah, maybe not kiss hands and shake babies. Maybe the other way around. Be a short-lived political career. Whatever it is. Is it shake babies and kiss hands? That's the one. That's the one.
That might be wrong. That might be wrong too.
That's probably wrong. Yeah, I think so. Now we're just out of what I'm calling barbecue cookbook season. That seems to happen right as spring starts and trickles into just the beginnings of summer. I'm surprised I've never seen a Malcom Reed cookbook. Have you ever been approached to do that?
I have, and we've gotten, we've entertained some of it, doing one. But most of the time, like I kind of had my ideas that I would like to leave a cookbook with recipes that I've already created that are, because I've got, I don't know how many, Greg. It's maybe close to 1,000 that I've already done. Well, every time we've talked to someone about a cookbook, they don't want any of those. They want me to create all new ones from scratch. And so I just haven't took the time, to sit down and start doing that because I've been so busy with other stuff. And we've been successful with the videos and, all of our other social stuff that I just haven't had to do that cookbook yet. I mean, it would be nice one day to have one, but I'd really like to catalog. I'd like to catalog on hard copy a lot of the recipes I've already done, and I just hadn't found anybody that wanted to do that with me. So,
what about self-publishing? That seems to be all the rage these days. I've
seen people do it. Yeah,
I was at ThermoWorks a couple weeks ago with a bunch of people I don't know. Some people I knew, but most of the people I didn't know, and they were just cackling all along about how they have all these great fan bases and however many through their Facebook group and however many through their YouTube subs, this and that. And they were on their 10th or 11th self-published book, and they're talking about how much money they're making because they don't have to go through traditional publishing. Kind of blew my mind because I'm like, who the hell are these people? And they're crushing it, and I can barely get by doing social media by myself, and they got a team of people. But even Susie Bullock was talking potentially about self-publishing a book that she's working on. So is that something you would consider?
I really haven't gave it a whole lot of thought. I don't know much about it. I mean, that's, from the I've taught, we have a mutual friend, Meathead, and he,
Yep.
I know he's been really successful with his books, and he took some time to talk to me about it and give me some of the ins and outs and put me in touch with some people. And we got, to talking pretty serious about it. And then it just didn't come to fruition. So, but one of these days, I'm sure, I'll take the time and hopefully put something out like that. I could see that being something I'd want to leave behind when I'm gone,
Well,
It'd be
luckily,
nice to have that out there.
you have a tremendous YouTube catalog that is, going to be left behind as well. Although, I never know how that's going to look in 20 years or 30 years from now where, if Michael's got his own kids and he wants to say, oh, you should see what Grandpa used to do. He was turning the internet on his ear back in the day. You should see these videos. And, so hopefully they're all there. But I could see also where a cookbook is something that you have. It's a, documentation of everything that you've done. And as long as you got it, you got it.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the great thing about that YouTube platform. It does archive really well. There's all this other social stuff we're doing. It's not really archived. I mean, of course, we save copies of it. I don't know, we have a server that I put everything on just in case something ever happens. I got a file backup, but it's nice to have YouTube there as kind of that resource because you can, it catalogs stuff so well.
What do you have coming up here over the next couple of weeks we can know about?
Well, we're going to be up in Grand Rapids, Michigan here coming up, but at the Mitten Barbecue Supply. There's a great bunch of guys up there on the barbecue store. We're going to go up and kind of do a meet and greet. They've got other stuff going on, I'm sure, that day. So if anybody's in the Grand Rapids area, I want to say that's Saturday after next. So it'll be the weekend, following the fourth weekend, if that's what we want to call this coming up. After that, I've got another event, locally in Oxford, Mississippi, towards the end of the month at a brewery down there. I'm going to be pairing some recipes with some of their beer they make there in Oxford at Circle and Square Brewery. And we'll be giving out some barbecue stuff like that, hanging out. They got a band, and of course, there's going to be plenty of cold beer.
Oh, yeah. Better be at a brewery, especially if Malcolm's coming to town.
Right.
You're the certified is the beer cold enough expert, for what I understand.
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely check it.
Malcom Reed is here talking about live fire, how to bbqright.com is the website. You can subscribe to him over on YouTube as well. Malcolm, always appreciate the time, and we will see you in August.
Hey, that's a good month. My birthday month, Greg. See you next time.
All right. Birthday gifts ready for Malcolm when he comes back on in August. And again, you can find him over at howtobbqright.com. Same handles on socials. And of course, you can subscribe to him over on YouTube, where 1.7 million of you are already doing that and enjoying the videos. He's inspired me. I think a direct rib cook is on the agenda. Maybe not for Thursday. Maybe for Thursday. Nobody's invited me anywhere for 4th of July. Much like no famous person has invited Malcolm to fly out in their private jet and whip him up some food, the same invitation has not been extended to me. So maybe direct rib cook is on the agenda now that I'm thinking about it. We'll have to see how it goes over the next 48 hours. Frugoni's in the green room. We'll get to him here in just 1 second. Before we do that, I will talk to you about Big Papa Smokers. Listen up, gang. Our pals at Big Papa Smokers have something special just for you, the listeners of the show. Whether you're a seasoned pitmaster or grilling newbie, Big Papa Smokers, your one-stop shop for all things barbecue. From their championship rubs, mouth-watering sauces, essential accessories, they've got what you need to take your food to the next level, whether on the competition circuit or in the backyards like me. Here's the cherry on top. Big Papa Smokers offering the listeners of the Barbecue Central show an exclusive deal. Use the code REMPE at checkout, REMPE, and you get $10 off your next $50 purchase of rubs, sauces, and accessories. Imagine the possibilities. Evaluate your ribs with Big Papa's Sweet Money, or add Desert Gold on top of your chicken, or better yet, pick up Double Secret and try it on your steak. Head on over to BigPapaSmokers.com and start shopping today and start saving today when you use promo code REMPE at checkout and claim $10 off your next order of $50 or more. That's REMPE at checkout. Also, don't forget to check out Big Papa's full line of recipes at cooking with BigPapa.com. And, of course, follow him on social media for amazing recipes. We're back with Al Frugoni right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
And we thank Malcom Reed for joining us the last segment. This portion brought to you by Fireboard, where you can monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously, connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring, or connect via Bluetooth if you prefer. Smart speakers are mostly fully integrated. Fireboard.com, the place to go. 816-945-2232 to ask questions. Also, don't forget about the Spark and the Beacon. Great products by the folks over at Fireboard. My next guest tonight showcases one of the more elaborate setups at his estate in the hill country of Texas. While he has always had a passion for live fire cooking, it's not always looked the same, and that evolution and collaboration has made him into the success that he is today. Argentinian Texan businessman. We welcome first-time guest to the show, Al Frugoni. I appreciate you joining me here this evening. And before we get going on all the live fire talk, we have a YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, including all guests. Did you sign up for the Z Grills promotion? Yes or no? Al, you there?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. What's the for me?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was for you. Did you sign up for the Z Grills promotion?
Okay. No, not yet. I'm going to do it right now.
Oh, do you even know what the Z Grills promotion is?
No, sorry.
So what happens is you go to Z Grills. If you're familiar, they're a pellet grill manufacturer. Mm-hmm. You buy a specific model. It's like $777. And then every 5 years, for the next 50 years, you pay a $100 shipping fee. You get a new version of the grill every 5 years. What do you think?
Are you serious? That's great. Wow.
Yes. So this is what happens when, as I was telling Malcolm before, this is what happens when you're the manufacturer of the grill. It's not just you're a brand and then you've contacted Z Grills to make your grills. They do the whole thing in-house. I think at one point they were making Traeger grills for a while, and they make a bunch of other brands out there as well. But that's a promotion literally going on right now, if you didn't know.
That's amazing. Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Can you give us the high-level background of Al starting in Argentina and ending up in Texas? How do those dots connect?
Oh, well, I married a Texan 24 years ago. Yeah, I was visiting Europe. I was actually backpacking, and she was doing the same, and we met. We fell in love. And since then, we live in Argentina for 10 years. Then we moved here. So for the past 20-something years, my life has been between Argentina and Texas. So that's kind of the short version of the story. It's longer than that.
What does backpacking in Europe mean? Like, I hear about it all the time, and like to me that seems like crazy. But what are you actually doing backpacking? What does that mean?
Well, actually, it's very common down in Argentina that we travel a lot, right? Argentina is literally in the south of the world, right? So it's very common, and we have a lot of European descendant too. So everybody has a relative there. So it's very common that kids that they can afford, right? That young, I don't know, your 20s before you start college or maybe after, you just like take 1 year to tour Europe, right? And we call it backpack because you're like constantly moving in trains and stuff. And that's what I was doing. And then actually it was Morocco where I met my wife. I was in the south of Spain and I took a boat across to Morocco, and then I met her there. So yeah,
I mean,
you're never safe. You can get married.
What are the chances you're in Morocco and you meet a lady from Texas and you fall in love, and then 25 years later, here you are? That's as romantic as it gets, I think.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was yeah, and when we got married in Houston, we actually after we got married, we did the opposite of the logic thing to do. I took her to Argentina, so we lived there for 13 years in Argentina. So uh, our three kids were born there in Argentina. But we since then kind of the deal was okay. We live in Argentina, but we come every summer. That is winter here, so it's complicated. But we used to come a lot to the States, and then is when I started to fall in love with Texas and Texas culture and Texas barbecue and everything.
When you are in Argentina, what kind of business or businesses are you running? And at what point, or you said, was it 13 years later you decided to move to Texas?
Yeah, when
Yeah.
we turned 40, we both turned 40. My oldest one, Luca, he turned 10, and we said, okay, it's now or never. But the conversation of living here or there was all the time, right? Uh, like I said, we were kicking the ball forward. That's an expression, like, it's like, okay, we're ready to go to the US, but then, she got pregnant, and then the first year, and then that was 2 years, and then next one, and then kicking the ball forward. And yeah, I have businesses. I still have businesses in Argentina. I'm an entrepreneur. I have different kind of business. I have a trucking company. I have a trampoline park over there. That trampoline park I actually built it while I was living here. So, and in COVID started all this crazy barbecue deal.
So you
At
weren't
least
like, you weren't
as a
fully
business.
you weren't the Al Frugoni that we know now pre-COVID?
Well, I was cooking like almost 4 times a week, and I have all kinds of grills, but I was more like a hobby. It wasn't like something that I was doing to promote or anything. Right when COVID hit, all my business were shut down. I was here right in Texas and no money, so I said, okay, what I'm gonna do now? So I called this guy that I've been talking to for a while. Is the owner of Fogues, Texas? Those grills, the asador style grills. So I told him, okay, I'm ready to start selling them. Send me some grills. I'm gonna start posting about it and see if I can sell them online. So what I didn't know that I have is the skill to make cool videos, right? I don't know if I can cook. I can do cool videos, that's for sure. So actually, I didn't even have like social media or anything. I was that guy that that when somebody asks you if you are you on Facebook and you get like mad. No, I don't. I was that guy 5 years ago. So yeah, that's the crazy thing. So this guy on Fogues, what caught my attention for this guy is that he built his business out of Instagram. So that me being an entrepreneur, that blew my mind. I said, how are you gonna do that? So I started like getting into that, and he told me a lot of the stuff that I use now, like how to post, how to make the videos, look into the details, don't make it boring, right? So I learned a lot from him, and I started posting videos, and right away I started getting like a lot of views. And engagement, and we started selling grills, and it was kind of crazy. Actually, my daughter at the time was 10, and she's like, Dad, you have to post on TikTok. And I literally said, what is TikTok? I didn't even know what it was. And she built the account for me, and that was the first platform that blew up. I started getting like millions of views on my videos, and people were like very intrigued on what I was doing. Then very soon I learned that my style of cooking, because my style of cooking is not fully South American Argentinian barbecue or American barbecue, of course, right? It's kind of like a fusion between those two cultures. That, for my understanding, is the best two barbecue cultures in the world, right? The American barbecue with Argentinian and South American asado, right? It's like, so I started like making like a fusion between both, using American flavors with Argentinian techniques or vice versa. And I think people were very intrigued about it, and that's why I started like getting all these views, right? And we started selling all these grills, and that was kind of like a roller coaster, right? It's like everything happened so fast. Yeah.
When I think of you, my mind is always going to those highly elaborate setups, animals on crosses, fruits and meats being hung on hooks and cages, and it's all visually stimulating. But how does one really cook like that, and how long does it take you to really hone that style?
Well, like getting raised, born and raised in Argentina is something. Cooking over fire is something that you do. It's not a choice. It's like the asado culture is so deep in our culture, right? That is like we do asados all the time. We that's what how Argentinians socialize. You know, we can do from everything is an excuse to make an asado. So you grew up going to your grandpa's and you make asado. Not so sophisticated, not so visual, right? Everybody has the classic Argentinian Santa Maria kind of grill built in their houses. So you start like doing that at a very young age, and then you start like cooking your own asados when you're a teenager, and you start getting with your friends. So I basically been doing asado all my life. When you start doing whole animals, it's more like, you know, something that you have to learn. It's common there, but not as common that, you know, do the regular asados. But I think it's like it takes time, because in open fire we don't use tools, we don't have thermometers, it's not enclosed, so you can't manage the temperature so good, because, you know, you have external factors like, you know, rain, wind, temperature, right? It's not the same if you're cooking in Canada in winter or in Texas in summer. So you have all these external conditions. So I think the experience in open fire is very important, because you have to cook to learn. That makes sense. It's like you have to cook a lot to learn how to do it.
100%. So the open fire style of cooking, to me, seems highly inefficient. You're not really, let's say, harnessing all of the energy in the most efficient ways possible. Is that incorrect? Or is that just part of the experience?
Well, if you're thinking about the fuel, yes, it's super inefficient, because you're gonna burn, let's say, you're gonna burn probably 5 to 6 times more firewood or charcoal than if you're gonna be doing an enclosed grill, right? For a cook of, I don't know exactly the numbers, but yeah, if you think it that way, yes, it's inefficient. The fuel is what I try to explain people, because those are the questions that I all the time have, right? People that smoke, the first thing I have to tell them that is like the open fire has different principles than smoking, right? And one of the big one is the one that you just said, right? It's a different kind of heat, is a different kind of cook. The fire is more aggressive on the meat when you're cooking open fire, so you have to use the fat, you have to use the bone, you have to use the membrane to protect that meat. It has a lot of different principles. One is that you're gonna burn a lot more fuel that you will if you have an enclosed grill. Right?
How many other Frugoni's are around the United States that you know of?
None.
You're one of one, you think?
Well, the thing is, like, there's a lot of open fire going on in California, in
no way
here in Texas,
not
like
in California.
Santa Maria. Well, Santa Maria, right? That's where they come from, right? The Santa Maria ground. So, but yeah, it's still a niche. It's growing. There's a lot of people doing Argentinian asados. I know a few guys that are doing. They're Argentinians, that they're doing catering, and they don't have probably the exposure that I have, but they're like really good cooks, and they're doing like good stuff, but an Argentinian style. That's what I mean. My style is kind of like it's kind of like unique in the way that nobody's doing it, right? Like I'm doing it. Not because it's difficult. I think it's because, like I said, my life has been like, for the past 25 years, I've been absorbing all this smoking, experience and influence, right? And then doing that, and I have all the background of the open fire. So I wish, my goal is like to get, every time that somebody replies a recipe in one of my grills, or they bought another grill and they reply what I do, is something that makes me so happy, right? Because it's like, I know it sounds cheesy say that, but when you influence people like that, it's the coolest thing ever.
If you go to your website, you're able to buy sauces, rubs, these unique grills that you're talking about here, other accessories as well. From a business standpoint, where are you sitting at right now, and where would you like to be in 2 years?
Well, I like to. Now I'm not. I'm selling grills, but I'm not part of the grill companies. I'm helping to promote. I work as an influencer, as an ambassador for the grill companies. I own my line of seasonings. That's what I'm very focused right now. We are getting in big grocery stores. We're online. We're killing it. We're growing every month. In Amazon, in my website. So I see myself on the product part. I feel like and actually I'm more comfortable in that business than being an influencer. I feel like because I'm an entrepreneur, right? So I feel more in my ground there. For me, all the other side of the business, like doing events or doing or, being an influencer, is more like it's not my kind of like. I'm enjoying it. It's fun, but it's not my background or my expertise, right? So I'm pretty focused on the seasonings now. I wanna make it big. I wanna add more products. I want to be in the whole country with my seasonings.
How do you do that? Are you partnered with a broker of some sort, or when I talk to a bunch of other people that have seen success, there seems to be some magical bridge that they've crossed or a relationship that they have made to really help them get into a lot of retail locations. And everybody's told me, look, you want to make $1 billion and sell all this stuff online, you're dreaming. The real money is made once you get into the big grocery store change or nationwide distributing through XYZ. So how have you found that?
It's true what they say. First, you have to have like a big online platform for the people just to look at you, right? And in my case, I think I have a product that was unique. I'm in a different. I'm not competing with the traditional rubs, right? That there's so many people doing it. I think it's like our friends from W Sauce, right? When they start, they're like kind of the only ones there in my product with my chimichurri mainly. I'm kind of like, it's not, now we have another brands doing it, but I kind of was the first in something new. So yeah, first you have to get exposure online. Second, you have to have luck and to have to be like I did. Like for example, Malcom. I remember when I just started, he in his podcast he mentioned my name and he used my product. He bought it and that was a huge help. And then another big influencer.
You're the chimichurri sauce guy that he mentions?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Remember that?
I remember.
Okay,
yes,
that was
I do.
huge.
Yeah.
I was my phone was like beeping, like orders coming in, and I was like, what happened? And I was started looking social media who posts, because that's also happened, right? When somebody posts, you have a sales, but I wasn't, nobody. I didn't see any videos, or then some guy called me, and I just saw you, and so you have to be lucky enough that cool people like Malcom just pick up your product and mention you, right? And a lot of the other guys did it too, almost everybody. So, and then yes, brokers. That's the way to do it. You need the brokers that know people, and again, you have to be lucky that these guys listen to you, and it's a lot of reference. Like a lot of people who do you know who can recommend you. I'm using this broker. Can you try it? And yeah, I think by yourself, like without brokers and stuff, maybe I'm wrong. I'm new in this business, but I think it's quite difficult to do it yourself.
What do you have coming up from a promotional standpoint, or any big events you want to talk about here before I let you go?
Sure. Well, I have a lot of events coming up, but the one that I want to talk about is my event that I do every year in October. That's the Texas Open Fire Meetup. This is going to be the 4th year that we're making it. People, chefs, or mainly influencers are coming from all across the country, including Canada. And this year we're going to have a Mexico team. Alejandro and the S&P guys are coming. We're going to have a team from Argentina. So we're going to have a lot of people coming, and it's an event that is a charity event for the first responders here in Medina County, Texas. It's close to San Antonio. It's open to public. So we're going to have more than, I don't know, I think last year we had like 1,200 people coming. I think this year we're expecting more.
Wow.
Last year we had like 12 teams, more than 50 chefs came. This year we're expecting more. So it's pretty cool. It's an event that we do it just to to be together, cook together, learn from each other, inspire each other, share the passion that we all have, right? And that is open fire. We have smokers and stuff, but it's a good time. It's a good time. If you guys are in Texas, you're welcome to visit us.
That's October when?
October 26th.
26, all right. So
Yeah,
just shy
in
of
Hondo,
Halloween.
Texas.
Hondo, Texas. All
Yeah.
right. So updates and stuff through your social media and on your website for folks that are interested?
Al Frugoni in all platforms.
Yep.
We're posting every time recipes, new crazy stuff that we do, events. We're trying to keep everybody updated. We just been in the Copa America. I don't know. I know people don't like soccer too much, but we did there like a tailgate.
Yeah, they lost.
We did.
That's what I hear. The men's team lost.
Yeah,
I guess there's no
yeah.
surprise. Like nobody cares about it, but I heard it was a big deal.
Yeah, nobody cares until until we win, right? When U.S. team goes good, everybody's kind of interested, and then it's we don't care.
Yeah, only for soccer though. We're bandwagon soccers. I mean, I would never watch a soccer match. I don't care if we're good or not. I find it to be terrible, but that's just me. And that's always how it's been with the show. But soccer's a big deal everywhere else except America. So I certainly appreciate the sport because, I mean, we're bigger than just America, if you can believe it or not. I know nobody believes that in America, but that is actually the case. So if I give you 10 minutes, how many hot dogs and buns could you eat? Realistically.
I don't know. 10 minutes? No, I don't know. Maybe 3, 4. I'm a rookie. I don't know.
3?
Never did it. Dude.
All right. Well, 3. I told Malcolm last segment 3 would probably be tops for me just because I couldn't stomach eating a 4th. Like, first one is always the best thing ever. And then the second one, I'm like, I got to have the best thing ever again. And then it wasn't really as good as the first one. And then you have that third one, hoping you recapture the first one. But then it's even worse than the second one. And then usually I call it quits. And that's usually in the realm of 3 or 4 minutes. So I couldn't imagine crushing 70 plus hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes like they do in the hot dog eating contest. So in any event,
right?
it is Joey Chestnut. Yeah, I think he did 74 or 76 hot dogs and buns a couple of years ago, and he's been in the high 60s since then. We're chatting with Al Frugoni, alfrugoni.com, and Al Frugoni on social media. Appreciate the inside look at how you got to where you are today, and hopefully we can have you back on and just talk about some live fire topics going forward.
Let's do it.
All right. Thanks, Al. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
First timer, Al Frugoni, knocking it out of the park, of course, as he does on his videos and posts. So if you're not familiar with him, which I can't imagine that's the case, check him out over on his website, alfrugoni.com, or follow him on social media if you're not already. All at Al Frugoni. Like, what are the chances you go backpacking in Europe and then you're in Morocco? Is that Europe? American. And then you meet the lady you're going to marry in Morocco. Like, how many things had to go right? Come on. That's so romantic. I'm so in love right now. Good for you, Al. All right, let's wrap the first hour right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Thanks to Al Frugoni for joining us last segment. alfrugoni.com, Al Frugoni on all social medias. Peter in Oklahoma, Greg casually name-dropping Michael Simon last week was very douchey. I think we all know he's not replying to your text with any type of urgency. Tell the truth. Love the show. Regards, Peter. Peter, thanks for that. He does reply with the quickness. Let me rephrase that. Every time I have texted him, which I do not take advantage of, he has replied back to me in less than 5 minutes every time. So he must operate on the same principles as I do. We're heading to the second hour. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Frisky-Dog, the barbecue wizard, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Bye-bye!
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me.
Fine, how you doing?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle. Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude.
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 54 wieners.
Oh, listen, Libertius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
And just like that, we are into the second hour. It's the Barbecue Central Show, where we talk about all the most important live fire and barbecue and grilling items in the world today. We come to you from
Palm City, USA, Cleveland.
If you missed the first hour of the show this evening, you missed a visit from our pal Malcom Reed over at How to Barbecue Right and Killer Hogs competition team. You then missed a debut appearance from the open fire cooking expert himself, Al Frugoni, who said he's one of one currently here in the States, which I believe. I know Tuffy Stone was really into learning all about that kind of cooking style. I haven't seen him debut any type of cooking arrangement like Al has in his backyard or in his estate or whatever he's got, the ranch he was talking about. But I know he was very taken with that style of cooking for quite a while. So great to have Al Frugoni on the first time. If you're just tuning in and you missed all of that, no worries. We're recording audibly and audibly and visually. Let's try it that way. So the video will auto-archive as soon as the show ends, around 11 o'clock this evening, and the first hour audibly will be in the podcast feed pretty soon after the show ends, and usually shows up in the feed not long after that. So early morning hours of Wednesday, you can take in the first hour and catch up with Malcom Reed and Al Frugoni and hear my latest hot dog competition eating take that I had top of the show. Still to come on the show in the second hour, our pal Sam, the cooking guy, and Rashid Phillips. How about that? Winning at every turn and in every hour. We say good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of our video streaming platforms. You can go to Facebook.com/BBQ Central Show. You can go to Twitter.com/BBQ Central Show. You can also watch the show, believe it or not, on YouTube, which is YouTube.com/@BBQ Central Show. We take a look at the YouTube poll question of the week, and I'm asking everybody this. In fact, I threw Al Frugoni off. He sat there like, I'm waiting for answers. I asked you, did you sign up for the Z Grills promotion? Now we're into the teeth of the voting, and this is typically where we start seeing the 50-50 range. Undoubtedly, the exact opposite. 100% of voters are saying, I did not take part. I did not.
Andrew, you are
not take part in the Z Grills promotion. 100% of you? Z Grills, I'm sorry. This seemed like a winner of a promotion. I'm seeing it all over on social media. You've hired whoever you deem to be social media influential to get the word out. I'm talking about it on this show for $0.00. And for that $0.00, you get a 0.0 effort in people taking you up on that promotion, which is again, a little shocking. That's a new grill for $100 for the next 5 years for $50. So what is that? 10 grills? You got to pay $100 each time? That's probably covering their cost of the grill, right? They couldn't possibly be losing money at it. Like, you don't do a promotion to lose money. But you're looking to dump the line. They're not looking to do that. There's been no reporting from Wes Wright over at cookoutnews.com. They're looking to dump the line. But 0% of you have taken up on that promotion. So we will continue to follow through the second hour and see what our guests say in the second hour. Coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less this coming Friday. Episode 340, taking you back to June 20th of 2017. And this week we feature the first and only time to date that I have had one Blake Carson from Carson Rodizio on the show. Carson Rodizio is his style and brand of Brazilian-style barbecue. So you have the skewers twisting over the open flame. He's got these really cool road carts. I think he called road show carts. So if you're not familiar with what he sells, it is impressive when they are all running. There's no doubt about it. Visually pleasing and satisfying at every turn. And if you're into Brazilian-style barbecue and are looking for a cooker kit, Carson Rodizio, certainly something you want to take a look at. Highly regarded. Also, just as a person, Blake, very unique. Dare I say, one of one, much like Al Frugoni, one of one in doing his style of cooking. Blake Carson, one of one as a human. So I hope you enjoy the best moments this coming Friday. You can subscribe to this show and the podcast feed for the big show by visiting thebbqcentralshow.com/subscribe. And don't forget, if you want to hear a guest or segment again that has been lost in the archives, you can email John, Jon, at thebbqcentralshow.com and let him know what you would like to hear. The Famous Dave's All-Star Barbecue Series has the next few weeks off, so no winner to tell you about this past weekend. There will be no winner to tell you about next Tuesday. But what we do know is this. The next time it kicks up, which I'll tell you about here in a second, the Reserve Grand and the Grand Champions for all those events will earn spots to the 2024 World Food Championship in the barbecue division. That takes place in Indianapolis this coming November. So if you're taking part in there, you want to finish first or second so you get your golden ticket to the World Food Championships barbecue side of things. The next Famous Dave's All-Star Barbecue Series event will be on Saturday, July 13th. So it will be a week from this coming weekend. And that takes place in Hermitage, Tennessee. If you're wondering, that event is full. By the way, El Paso, Texas, August 3rd. Columbia, Maryland, August 24th. Still having one spot left, or at least it's showing that on the World Food Championships website and the Famous Dave's website. So once again, one spot each, August 3rd in El Paso, Texas, the second time through El Paso, actually. And in that last event of the whole series, August 24th weekend, Columbia, Maryland, still one spot showing available in both locations. You can find out past results and the remaining schedule of future events by visiting worldfoodchampionships.com/allstars. Terry in Kentucky. Terry in Kentucky is writing it. Greg, color me intrigued. Is that how you start the email? Terry, color me intrigued. Greg, color me intrigued with the smoked potato and corn chips segment this past week. I ordered a box later in the week. I'm interested in seeing how the real taste is. What drove me over the edge, you ask? You're crunching your chips into the microphone. They sounded so crispy. I had to try it. Podcast listener only. Regards, Terry. Thank you, Terry. And Jared Drinkwater thanks you as well. In fact, I got a number of emails saying that you guys, and even during the instant chat when Jared was on the show, saying, I just put in my order for these smoked potato chips and smoked corn chips. So once you get them and you try them out, couple things. Hit me up. Let me know what you think about the flavor profile, number one. See if I was on point with my flavor assessments last week. More importantly, on the potato chip, I don't really give a shit about corn chips, period. So they weren't high on the list, but I was favorable to the potato chip. Let me know what you think about the integrity of the potato chip. I found them to be much more of a thicker cut, much more substantial than you would find in commodities potato chip. But you try it out and let me know. Also, I got a lot of email over the course of the week, and I even made the kids call it an edit video that I put up on Instagram through all the social medias that I use. I don't even know what I use. I got a thing that does it. So it was all up there talking about how I had reconnected with Detective Corey, neighbor Desmond, a couple weeks ago at a graduation party for my youngest daughter, and how we got to talking about the shenanigans, tomfoolery, hijinks, and general hoodwinkedness of what's going on at the Lake County jail system. And I wouldn't go into detail because I thought it could be offensive. And everybody wanted to know what I was talking about. They wanted the details. And I'm like, just use your imagination. You know? I don't want to get into the specifics, but I would say this. If you know anything about jail and you know what you talk about when you're in jail, you probably have a working idea what we're talking about. Shamo! Come on. Shamo! But I'm not going to get into it. People were leaving the conversation saying, hey, just so you know, I'm never going to talk about what we just were listening to at the table here. Good. I would prefer that. Sometimes you got to keep stuff within the circle of confidence. Sam the cooking guy is ready to go. Before we get to him, it's Primo time. What do we love about ceramic cookers? We love that they're fuel efficient. We love that they can achieve low and slow temperatures for traditional barbecue meats. We love that they can get rip-roaring hot for the high-temperature grilling of steaks and other thin cuts. But what's missing in the everyday ceramic grill lineup? The ability to do true two-zone cooking. Two-zone cooking is very important to both professional and backyard cooks alike. The best way to manage a fire and cook with confidence. However, getting a two-zone fire in a round ceramic cooker is not very realistic. Why? Because it's round. Then, Primo Grill changes the game with their oval design. The shape gives you the ability to execute that two-zone that you set up or that you desire. It also gives you the other ceramic grill benefits as well. When you break it down, there's more than 60 different ways to configure the Primo cookers. They're only limited by your culinary imagination, only sold through dealers. So you have to find one near you. Don't know how to do that? Go to primogrill.com and then look up the nearest dealer to you through their dealer locator. Then visit in person, touch and feel all the ovals. Buy the one that best fits your needs. Lots of accessories to complete that Primo experience. And as I mentioned in the first hour, Malcom Reed might have inspired me enough to do Primo Grill direct ribs for the 4th of July. It's very exciting. Are you excited? We'll see. I still got 24 hours for somebody to invite me to a July 4th. But in the meantime, you should be visiting primogrill.com. You should follow them on social media. And you should join the Oval Revolution. Sam the Cooking Guy's next. Stand by.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
Welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Pit Barrel Cooker, the most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet. Currently available in 3 sizes with a host of accessories. And last I saw, the PBX was getting blown out in a number of places. Doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a pro. It's a cooker you want to add to the arsenal regardless. Visit pitbarrelcooker.com and tell them the Barbecue Central Show sent you. It is that time of the month where we welcome in our favorite YouTube cooking personality, cookbook author, TV host, amongst other things. A Barbecue Central Show's guest Hall of Famer, most importantly, Sam the Cooking Guy, joining us after I gave him the month off last month as I was international on that ass. We have a YouTube poll question of the week, Sam, that we're asking everybody, including all guests. And we're asking everybody this. Did you sign up for the Z Grills promotion?
I did not.
If you can believe it, 100% of the YouTube voting public has not signed up for the Z Grills promotion. Do you know what the Z Grills promotion is?
I have no clue.
Do you know what Z Grills is?
Do not.
We aren't doing very well for Z Grills. They're not associated with the show. Z Grills is a manufacturer. They own the manufacturing of pellet cookers. For a point in time, they did grills for Traeger. They've done grills for many other brands, but this is the actual manufacturing arm that these people use to bring their grills to market. Well, they also usher in and sell their own line of Z Grills, pellet grills. And a couple weeks.
Always?
Yes, always.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
A couple weeks ago, they roll out this promotion. For $777, you get a fairly average-sized pellet cooker that looks like most of the other pellet cookers out there. For that amount of money, and then every 5 years, for the next 50 years, for only the small sum of $100 shipping, you get a brand new grill. What do you think? You love me long time for that?
I don't love you long time for that, no. Well, what if it sucks? What if I hate it?
No, but Z Grills is fully reputable.
I don't want it. No, I don't like that at all. I don't know why, but it smells. I don't like it. I don't like it. Do you like it? Did you sign up for it?
Well, I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but like the last time I bought a grill was 20 years ago. I'm pretty famous, guy.
Okay, let's take your fame out of it for a second.
I would 100%. Yes, for less than $1,000, and then I get a new grill of comparable size with upgraded whatever every 5 years. I mean,
okay,
for $100 for shipping,
you get the newest one, right?
Yeah,
the newest one, bells and whistles.
Well, you get the newest version of the one that you had.
Yeah. But it's going to be better.
Sure.
Everything's better.
Yeah, everything's always better.
They have to make most of the stuff better.
Did you know? You didn't know, but I'm going to learn you on this. You drinking a mule of some sort?
No, I'm only using the cup.
I don't think you can use that cup for anything other than mules.
I have a Modelo in it. Well, you know what? Tell the cup. The cup doesn't give a shit what's in it. Yes. The cup just wants to be used. I open the cupboard and I go, "Who am I using?" And the copper cup just moved a little bit. I'm like, all right.
Do you have beer?
You want some attention? I'll use you. What?
Is that a beer?
I said a Modelo. You ever heard of Modelo?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
That was the same beer you drank the last time. I couldn't remember the catchphrase.
Well, it's a fresh one.
It's like
not the exact same.
Fighter's mentality, or I don't know, whatever the hell it is. Do you have ice in that glass?
Yes, I like that. We've had this conversation.
No. All right, this has been Sam the Cooking Guy, and we'll see you in August, everybody. You put put ice in your beer,
and there's a half a lime squeezed in that.
I don't give a shit about that, but I would never put lime in my beer. But that's just me. I would never put ice in my beer. What are you doing?
I'd never wear a red T-shirt with a white T-shirt underneath it. How do you feel about that?
Oh yeah, do you know why I do that, smartass? Because the in-ear monitors, I don't like the way it feels on my naked back, so I have to put a barrier on there so I can stay comfortable during the show. Otherwise, I would be going like this all the time.
Have it run down the back of your shirt. Why does it have to be inside?
Because then it gets hooked up on the chair behind me. Trust me, I've been doing the show for like 15 years. I would have never known. It's your fault. If we track it all the way back.
Fault.
Yes. Ready for this? This is how we're going to track it back. When I used to watch Sam Livecast, you would talk to Max and Lynn. A lot of people don't know who Lynn is. You had your IFB in there. And the first time I ever communicated with you, I said, where the hell did you get that thing? How do you get that? And you read it on the air like an episode or two later. And I got it.
Yeah,
and
but
so
did
this
I
is
say?
all your
But
fault.
did I say you're going to be super anal and you're not going to be able to have it inside your shirt and you're going to have 14 effing t-shirts?
No,
just wear it down the back.
You didn't. I can't. It's very uncomfortable. And outside the shirt,
on
it
the
gets
outside
hooked.
of your clothing,
It gets
it's
hooked on the.
uncomfortable?
It gets hooked on the chair behind me.
Oh, for God's sake!
I know it's always a thing.
Use a little clip.
Does it look that bad?
You've ever been in it? No, but I'm just grabbing at anything because you're making fun of my
Yeah, but you
beer
put
with
ice in your beer,
which, by the way, is super refreshing. I'm not the only one.
Do you want
listener poll?
Do you want a nipple for that?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you don't want me to do it with this audience.
No, I think
you want me to?
Tonight?
Hold on.
No. You can't.
All right, everybody in the instant chat.
Have you ever? Yeah. Okay.
Have you ever put ice in your beer? Did you grab
You ever heard of Michelada?
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah. What's that? What is it?
Well, I know Michelada to be, what is it? Tecate beer? Is that what it is? And then you take the can, and then it's like, usually condensated, and you roll it around in that taco shit.
Never mind. No, taco shit. No. Glass, ice, tomato juice, beer. There's another version. Glass, ice, beer, lime juice. Thank you.
That's quite an impressive background you got behind you.
Well, I got a bunch of shit behind me, that's for sure. Look.
What do we got? That's a kettle grill of some point?
You got it. Yeah, there's a Weber.
That's a Weber? Yeah, okay, yeah. Weber, and then you have that high dollar Kamado.
No, beside the Weber is a pit barrel. Do you see the pit barrel?
Hold on. Let's punch in.
And
yeah, there it is. It was hiding on the small side.
And then the teal thing is the Caliber Pro Kamado. Not a fan anymore. Sorry. And beside that, which way do I have to go? No, this way.
Yeah, you got
There's another barrel. It's made by Drumbo. That's a Canadian one.
Yeah.
It's bigger.
You
And
got
then
probably
there's
a
a Traeger.
Yeah.
Traeger, and then an unnamed piece of equipment, and then another Traeger.
Another Traeger. Wow, look at that. It's quite a lineup you got.
We could do a tour one day, and then the behind me is where I cook. I mean, in front of me
that's like the stage. Oh, I always thought the grills were on that side. You just move them over there when you're going to use them?
Which grills? These guys?
Yeah, like when you're going to use them in a video, not if you're not using the broiler that you have, but if you're using one of those in the background. I thought those were all over on the other side.
It depends on where the sun is, to be honest.
Oh.
Because we don't like direct shots in the sun if we're going to be there a long time. If it's just a quick open, put something in and shut it, which generally it is, they're usually over here. Where these guys are. This is generally where they are. Or we drag them around the island and put them on the other side. And the Traeger flat rock's over there. I don't want to dwell on that. I know how you get.
What's this nonsense you're talking about in one of your latest videos where you're talking about cooking spray gunking up your cast iron grill?
Oh,
grates?
boy. Here we go. We've had this conversation. Listen, I don't probably from you 25 years ago.
Never.
I thought that I'd heard somebody say quite specifically, and we could maybe get a manufacturer online. Stainless steel grates. Put whatever the fuck. Put anything you want. You want to use lard? Put lard. You want to use spray? Butter, oil. Nobody gives an F. You're not going to hurt them at all. But cast iron grates, which happened to be on my char broiler, the commercial version of a barbecue for inside restaurant use, I heard that cast iron grates can get gunked up if you use like a cooking spray on them. So I haven't until you called the other day and kicked me in the nuts over it. What are you talking about? I thought I heard somebody say that. Someone with authority.
So next time, what have we learned? Next time you clear all that before you just go popping your mouth off in front of hundreds of thousands of people are going to watch that and go, oh shit, I better not do that. That's totally incorrect. Like that's how I season all of my cast iron, raw cast iron. So here's another poll question for the chat room. Has anybody ever heard of cooking spray gunking up raw cast iron, or is that what you use to season and keep seasoned your raw cast iron?
Here's the third question.
Yeah.
Is this the night that Greg tries to bust Sam's balls as many times as possible?
Yes.
That's the better question to ask.
That's the one.
Question number 3.
That's right. That's what we're doing.
How are you? How was the trip?
Well, let me just say this. I am a now well-respected and highly decorated international traveler, number one. I went into the whatever you call that place, the customs.
Whatever you call that place.
Flipped over my passport, thunk, and I have a big stamp on there from the international waters of the Bahamas. And
did when the guy opened your passport, did it go and dust fly out?
He's like, do you mind if I break the spine on this? So we got through that, and then it was just a great week, very relaxing, great weather.
That's what a vacation and travel's about. Quick, best thing you ate. Don't think about it, just answer. You're thinking now. I didn't want you to think.
I know.
I thought maybe hoping there'd be one.
There were so many great. It would be easier to tell you which wasn't great, which was the steak restaurant the last night we were there, that's my fault. I shouldn't go to steak restaurants.
I was just going to say, you maybe should be held responsible for that one.
Totally. However, we went to Jose Andres's fish-themed or fish restaurant.
Can I guess right now? It has to be a 10 out of 10.
So I got the steak there because there was no fish on there that I was even remotely willing to try. That steak was 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I bet. He is so accomplished.
Yeah. So if he's putting his name on something, it's got to be good.
Yeah, that's what I think. Which is not always the case.
I did have conch
with celebrity chefs.
Twice.
What's it taste like? I've never had it.
I mean, it was pretty pretty nondescript.
Meaty?
It was kind of a So if I'm going to compare it, that's where I was going. I was going to say it was kind of, but I had it both. They were both times. They were. I don't know if if raw would be the right way to describe, but it was in like a cold
I'm gonna guess
salad.
like a ceviche or something.
Yeah.
I think that's how they do it. Is there coconut involved?
Never. I would never eat coconut. It's as bad as onions to me.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, but it was whatever it was good. In both instances, they were a little different, not the same, in two different locations. And there was a conch stand that we went to, and I almost got conch there as well, so almost 3 times. So involuntarily did it.
And is anybody serving it hot, or it's always cold?
Yeah, there's deep fried conch fritters, whatever. But I figured that takes away from the whole essence of conch. I mean, you deep fry anything, deep fry a piece of shit, and it probably tastes pretty good.
But what does it look like when you drag it's like a giant effing snail, right? You pull
it was very whitish.
No, but it's cut up. It's looks like a fish. Could have been anything at that point.
Sure.
But do you get to see the thing whole when they grab it and they pull it out of its shell?
I would love to see that.
I would not love to see that.
The shells are so magnificent. Like you're supposed to blow in those.
Yeah.
Call Aquaman up from the deep or some shit. But it was great.
That's what happened.
Now, that's my trip. In the meantime, you
go ahead.
Jetted off to the Hong Kongs.
Yes, we did. Well, there's just one of them. No S. Hong Kong.
So does the president of Hong Kong say, "Hey Sam, come on over and do a eating video for us," or what happened?
No. The trip was to go to Guangzhou, China, to look for some products for Sam the Cooking Guy. So
you mean
Max
like products that you're going to introduce to sell?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's a thing called the Canton Fair. It's the largest trade show in the world. So big. It's not a yearly. It's a biannual.
Twice a year?
That's the word. Twice a year. That's not biannual. Biannual is every 2 years, right?
No. Biannual is twice a year.
What's twice every 2 years then?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm not certain about that. But so that was the goal. The goal was to go to that and look for products. Largest trade show in the world. It's insane. We want to find some stuff there. Because what we would buy here, our cast iron pan, for example, we would be able to buy there like way less. Same quality, customized, everything. So we wanted to go and look and just look to see what there was. So while we were there, we actually flew from LA to Tokyo, and both of us are huge Japan fans. So we stayed in Tokyo 2 nights and just ate a little bit and hung around and loved it. Then we flew from Tokyo to Guangzhou. We're there for 2 nights, did the fair for 2 days. I mean, I don't know how many billions of square feet this show is. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's 3 separate weeks, and each week is a different discipline.
Wow.
It's like industrial, like street lights and steel and metal things one week, and then housewares-esque and clothing-esque another week, and then I don't know what the other one was.
Wow.
And while we were there, we were an hour high-speed train away from Hong Kong. So we said, hey, we both love Asian food, Chinese food. Let's go to Hong Kong on the way back and shoot some stuff there, like we've done in Seoul, like we've done in London, like we've done in Tokyo. And I had the stupid idea, let's do 50 things you need to eat in Hong Kong.
50?
50. And
wow.
We were there. We got to Hong Kong on a Friday night, about 8. We started Saturday morning at 10 and ended Sunday at about 7. I found a person that's a food tour person to help us. Sent her my list. We honed it together, back and forth on WhatsApp, and then off we went. Would have been really hard to have done it with her.
How'd you find
without her? I mean, online. I just started looking food tour people, Hong Kong, that kind of stuff. Turned out she was.
How do you vet them to be? How do you vet them to be experts? They could just be somebody looking to take your money.
You look at her. You watch their videos and stuff.
Yeah.
You watch their Instagram. You watch their social media. You get a sense of the things that they're doing, they're seeing, they're talking about, who they're with, that kind of stuff.
And does she know who you are pretty much right off the bat?
Did she know who I was? I don't remember.
Is she in the YouTube space?
She's more the social media, Instagram space.
Oh, maybe there was a disconnect. Bit. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Her business is called Humid with a Chance of Fish Balls.
Yeah, right. I remember seeing that in the video.
She was great.
She seemed like a great personality. Really fit in.
Really wonderful. Got along really well. Yeah, we really jived. It was really fun. We ate a lot of really great stuff, except for one horrible squid thing that was awful. But aside from that, I'm a big fan of Hong Kong. I've now been fortunate enough to shoot in Hong Kong 3 times. Once for Sam the Cooking Guy TV show way back. Once for Sam the Cooking Guy. Sorry, once for Just Cook This with Sam the Cooking Guy.
Yeah.
That was the Discovery series I had. And then this. But this is the one that I got to say, do what I want. And I don't have to worry about, some stupid producer someplace going, you can't say that.
You couldn't possibly, this is the last question too, by the way, because I got Rashid Phillips in the wings. You couldn't possibly go back to any kind of structured cable television show, given what you're able to do now and how many people watch you do what you do on YouTube. I can't imagine you would ever do that. Go back to those kind of handcuffs.
You mean like a proper network-ish kind of show?
Like Food Network calls you up or Discovery and says, Sam, we want to reconnect and we want to send you out to Tokyo or Hong Kong or Seoul.
It would be tough, Listen, I
can do what you want to do.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Anthony
also,
Bourdain, and
if
please,
I might,
and please understand.
In my opinion, you could just take your shows and say, hey, Food Network, do you want to buy this and stick it in a half-hour slot? It's better than anything they have going from a production standpoint.
Listen, the Discovery series that we had, their plan was that they would shoot it, produce it, make the whole thing. They shot 1 episode, and then the vice president of production called me and he goes, it's just not coming together like we liked. And I said, you know what? I don't know. What are you doing? you like what I do already. Why don't you just let me produce it? I'll shoot it. I'll produce it. I'll just hand you the finished product.
Yeah.
He goes, great. What would that cost? We came up with a number, right? So we start down that path. We did a season. Even though that's kind of what you were describing, handing it to them.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. They still go, 3 minutes and 28 seconds. The camera's on the apple too long. We shot in Hong Kong. They're like, did a beautiful shot in an outdoor market in the middle of this gorgeous pan. Steve Sanders, gorgeous camera shot like this. Beautiful outdoor market. We see frogs in a cage. I go, okay. And they go, well, I go, I don't know. We know what? They go, well, Discovery, we're part of the Animal Planet channel. I go, okay. They go, well, Animal Planet. I go, we're not killing the fucking frogs. We're showing the frogs in a cage. If you go to Hong Kong, you're going to see frogs in a cage at these kind of markets. Yes. If you go to the Sahara Desert, you're going to see fucking sand.
Yeah.
You're telling me I can't show the sand. They go, well, and we had to cut it out. So could I do it? Would I want to? No. And please, let me just make this very clear. I'm drawing no comparisons between me and Anthony Bourdain, but that's precisely why he left the Food Network.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to railroad him into doing like state fair shit. And he wanted to go to Spain and do some cool stuff. And they didn't want that. Yes, I have the absolute freedom, but look, I'm human, If they came up and they said, here's a shit ton of money, would you do this? If we could work out the parameters, and who knows, maybe. I look at what's on the Food Network and I go, it'd never happen because I'm too normal. I'm way too comfortable at saying what I want to say. And I don't think that would ever happen, and they wouldn't want me. Some other place, and we could work things out. Who knows what the future brings?
The good news is this:
Go ahead. I want to hear it.
3.72 million people are already subscribed to Sam the Cooking Guy's YouTube channel.
Thank you.
Outside, I mean, who cares about anything other than that?
Don't care about anything else. I just want to make the audience happy. That's all I care about.
Well, you do that 3 times a week, at least for me, and that's all that really matters when we boil it right down to boilerplate status. So,
thank you, buddy.
Sam, appreciate the time as always, and if you can believe it, we will see you again in August. Holy moly. 2024 rapidly coming to a close.
What's that date in August?
Whatever the first Tuesday is.
Well, I'll tell you what. Hold on. There's only got one thing.
That's right. We only have Rashid Phillips waiting in the wings. He can wait. That's
you know what?
Rashid no problem.
Phillips, please.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, it'll be a day after my birthday.
Oh yeah?
I'll be here. Yeah.
Happy day, late birthday.
Send cards. My birthday's the 7th. Yeah. Start sending cards now and wishes, people, please.
All right. Mostly cash. Sam, always appreciate the time, and we'll see you in August.
Love to see you back in this country safe. Let's start talking about your next trip.
All right, let's start planning it. There he is, Sam the Cooking Guy. We're not going to plan that. We're absolutely not going to plan that. It's scary enough. It's like I never have any problem getting out of the country. Coming back in is always a problem for me. What are you doing? Why do you want to come here? I live here. Take a seat over there. Folks, Pits and Spits is selling some of the most badass cookers and grills out there. Are you ready to step your game up?
Step your game up.
Bring the ultimate barbecue flavor and cooker to the backyard. Pits and Spits charcoal grills offering the highest quality live fire cooking experience you can get in the market today. Using either wood or charcoal, their solid fuel grills produce those classic flavors you're looking for when you have the time to fire up the grill and cook for family and friends like this coming Thursday. With a large adjustable fuel tray, you can raise and lower the fire to control and fine-tune the heat. They're taking the very popular Santa Maria style grill. Check them out online, pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central. That's pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central. All spelled out on the Pits and Spits. The double T, by the way, on both Pits and Spits. Use promo code Charcoal Central for $150 off any charcoal grill. Good folks over at Pits and Spits. We're a little late, but we are back with Rashid Phillips right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
You're listening to the BBQ Central Show. Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs. Injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Greg Rempe.
And we thank Sam the Cooking Guy for joining us last segment. This portion of the show being brought to you by JRE Tobacco, makers of the Aladino line of premium hand-rolled cigars. Also with new offerings. How about this one? Fuma Noche. Dense, rich, intense. First cigar without Corojo that Aladino and JRE is making. More full-bodied, so if you like the fuller-bodied cigars, one you want to take a look at, we call it the last cigar of the night, Fuma Noche. Visit jretobacco.com for more information. Helping me close the show tonight, the owner of Phillips Barbecue Co. You've seen him on TV, cooking at live various barbecue events, and you hear him and see him on his weekly show this week in barbecue. Rashid Phillips joins us on the show once more. Rashid, great to have you back on. We have a YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, which is this. Did you sign up for the Z Grills promotion?
No, I did not sign up for the Z Grills promotion.
If you can believe it, all the way into almost 2 hours into the show, 100% of YouTube listeners and guests on this show have not signed up for these Z Grills. Do you know what it is?
That is astonishing. I have no clue what that is. I know of the manufacturer, but I have no clue what they're doing with it.
So a couple weeks ago, for $777 to start, they had a couple other ones. I think that ranged somewhere up to, let's say, $1,300, but no more than that. You buy the grill. Now, every 5 years for the next 50 years, for only $100 more additional dollars each time, get a brand new grill. How about that? For real.
So every 5 years, I get to give them an extra $100 for as long as I want.
For 50 years. Yeah. I mean, you're a young guy. You'll outlive that. So you get a new grill every 5 years for the next 50 years for $100 after your initial payment of $777. It's pretty good, I think.
So they're leasing out grills now. Okay. Great.
Yeah. I don't know what they're doing with the trade-in. Well, you get to keep it. You don't even have to give it back to step up. So you're just accumulating decorative art.
This sounds like the Pitmaster creation version of all you can eat with Red Lobster. You know, it's like eventually this is just going to go bad. Like the numbers
remember,
don't work on it.
Z Grills is the manufacturer. So if this was like Traeger or Weber to a certain degree or some other brand that isn't the manufacturer, I think indeed you're absolutely correct. But evidently, because this was brought to their attention almost immediately by critics and shit panners, is like you're going to go out of business inside of 2 weeks. And they said, oh no, this is something we can fully support because we are the manufacturer. So all that to say, 100% of people, including yourself, are saying, no thanks.
No, I'm good.
On your most recent show, you talked a bit about barbecue television, but more in the ways of what should the contestants be doing now to be ready for any wave that might pop their way. So let's dig into that a little bit more tonight because I love talking about business and expectations. I think the root of everything bad in everybody's life is missed expectations in some form or fashion. So take me back to your season of Barbecue Showdown and how the opportunity comes your way in the first place.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. First off, I'm just honored you listened to the pod, so appreciate that.
Why wouldn't I? It's good.
Thank you, man.
Anybody that's giving their straight take, I'm a fan. Whether I agree with it or not, if you are coming with the heat, I'm a fan.
Yeah, appreciate it. My season, the opportunities come like how I try to warn everyone. Everyone will come after you because you're the new shiny thing in the industry. That's really what it is. I love being blunt, but that's the God's honest truth. You're just the new shiny thing. You have a clock the moment your episode airs, and you have roughly 6 to 8 weeks. And if you are in a competition show like the one I was in, if you don't finish in the top 4, just count yourself out. It's borderline useless. If you think I'm lying, go back to any competition show, period, where the bottom 50% and look where they are and what they're doing. That's just what it is. And for me, it came in the form of emails, DMs. Hey, do this contract, do this sponsor. We'll send you products. And, you know, when you start doing the math, at first, you're just so excited. Like, wow, this knife brand wants me or this apron brand wants me. But what you don't realize initially is when you do the math on that 10, 15, 20% kickback, you realize you have to sell thousands of units to make any money.
Yeah.
Then when you chart it out with the posting schedule they want, there's literally not enough time to do everyone. So I didn't do any of them. I didn't take any of the deals, and I try to warn, and I have warned a lot of competition show cooks, everyone from Barbecue Brawl to season 3 of Showdown to Chop, Master Chef, all that. I just warn them, like, don't do those deals. They're god awful, and some of them, it should be illegal what these brands offer. It really should be, but most people sign and they don't understand what they're signing just because they see that little line where it says $5,000 and they're like, oh my God, I can make $5,000 in a month or just doing this one thing. And most people sign it and they don't realize they've literally just signed their likeness and life away forever.
Is there also a fear of missing out? That if they don't strike while the iron is hot, per se, that in 3 months from now or 6 months from now, that offer is not coming. It's going to be to the next shiny guy or gal.
Oh, 100%. I can only speak for myself, and I've been told, and I know for a fact, I'm the anomaly in regards to shows, the competition cooking shows over the last 5 to 8 years. It's like myself and 2 other people are the anomaly to make it where we have without being on either the constant competition circuit or without being on the constant TV circuit. You know, I did one show, I was like, yeah, I'm not doing any more. It took 5 years for them to get me back on TV on A&E, and that was just it. So to still grow and be that in demand, you feel like you'll miss out, but you're better off picking strategic partners and getting guidance, like getting someone to handle the contract deals for you. Because if not, you'll get a little pop, and then 18 months later, no one will remember you.
Why did you do Barbecue Showdown in the first place?
I didn't want to do it in the first place. I'd actually turned it down because when I got the offer, it was back during those sexbot IG days. Like, oh, you know, we can make you a star. We can put you in this. It's like, I don't know. I'm okay. And then I kept getting calls, and I was like, I don't really like competing with food. You know, I grew up, I'll say that I grew up poor on a farm in Jamaica. You know, my grandfather was a fisherman. We ate what he caught. So I never liked the idea of wasting food or playing with food. I never have my whole life. But they told me that it wasn't that type of show, you know, that it's not going to be like Pitmasters or any of the other comp shows. Or trying something different. And I was like, all right, let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens.
Overall, when you look back on that experience, where do you rate it?
Without a doubt, it's definitely one of the most memorable experiences of my culinary career. You know, I've made amazing friends there. Ash is my man, 100 grand. Love Auntie Sylvie. You know, we still talk and chat, and out of it all, the biggest, most important relationship I crafted out of that was with that of Pops, aka Mr. Kevin Bloodsoe. You know, we talk every day. We just love enjoying one another's company. You know, I oftentimes tell people that year, though I lost a father, I gained a Pops, you know, because my dad passed away just a few weeks before I started filming.
Is that tough to gut through?
Yeah, it is, you know, because I always feel now more than ever in my career, right when I'm getting another big push, that I suffer a loss. So, you know, my father passed away when I got that show. And then last year on my birthday, I'm directing my first big nationwide commercial, and it's my birthday and my grandfather passed away. So it seems like every big breakthrough or push, I'm experiencing a huge loss. So it just makes it a little bit more daunting. It makes it a little bit harder. And it's honestly messed with me a fair bit. I'm still trying to recover from my grandfather.
Do you look at it in a way of, at this point, because you have 2 big things happening, so going forward, if you see something good rolling down the street, are you now cautious that if you take it, something else is going to cause you to suffer? Does that continue in your head?
I'd be lying if I said the thought doesn't cross, but I know who they were and what they'd want me to do, and not to avert from something because I may lose something else. Because though I look at it as something else was replaced, I lost my father, I gained pops. My grandfather, he was in pain, he needed to go, but I still get to carry on his memory, in the give backs that we do. So whatever I lose, I make sure. And so far, I've also gotten back in a fair amount of a fold. It's just hard dealing with loss in general.
Is it more because you would like them to see what you're accomplishing live and in person? They're missing out on that in some way, where you can say, "Hey, I've worked hard. Look what I've done." Not in a bragging way, but in a proud son to dad or grandson to grandfather way.
Yeah, no, I would definitely would have loved for my grandfather to have been able to make it out to one of my Pitmaster Santa events and see all the U-Haul trucks worth of toys we collect, giving away food. I'd have loved to see him watch me mentor kids from the Boys and Girls program and, things like that. But I part of me likes to imagine he is just not here to physically do it, but he's aware. Before he passed, he knew. He was just not in a capacity to come here to see it.
If we go back to talking about these shows so we can educate future wannabe contestants.
Yeah.
Where do you stand right now with Netflix? I think in a time or two in the past, you've been fairly vocal about what they're up to, but where do you stand with them right now?
There's rumors going around that they want to do an all-star season.
Already?
Yeah.
It's only on its third season.
Season 3 drops this week, and then,
July
they're
4th.
already casting for season 4. So there are rumors on the forum saying, season 5 and for an all-stars, and I don't think I'd do it. We're not on every season thus far, aside from the first. It's been even the first a little screwed on each one. It's like, now when it comes to the contestants, I'm all about them. I love and I'm going to root for them. I'm going to do my best to educate them and sort of help them avoid the pitfalls.
It is my belief that a lot of folks who go on TV, these kind of shows, believe, at least in some part, they're going to become rich and famous. So what's the reality of that in your view?
This will be season 3. There have been 2 seasons, total of 16 candidates. Do you know any rich and famous ones?
I'm talking to. I mean, if we're talking about who's the most famous contestant to come out of Showdown, I don't think it's even close. I mean, it's you, and then it's like light years to whoever else would be.
Yeah, I don't
even know. But you were, for whatever reason. I mean, there's a plethora of reasons. You were like the. I always say if I get the man crush on somebody, like to me, that's where I know a star is rising. So many years ago, I don't know if you know the name Andy Husbands or not, but he's a pretty good barbecue guy. He was on Hell's Kitchen. I saw him. I'm like, this guy. He's dynamite. He's a man crush. We've become great friends. We've been on the show a bunch of times. He's become very successful. I watch you on the show. I could tell instantly watching the show. I'm like, this guy's different. It's not because he cooks a certain way. It's everything. It's not one thing. It's everything about this guy. He's got star quality. And then in future seasons, it's just not there. So I don't think it's meant for everybody else, but I think there is a almost sense of entitlement that if those people are going to go on, the contestants, that they feel like they are owed something or that they're going to get what they want, and that's in the form of fame and recognition.
Yeah, and that's honestly not the truth at all, like not even remotely. Once you leave that set, that network forgets you. You will not hear from them. If you hear from them before the show airs and it's not your media kit, you're doing something wrong. That's just the truth. You shouldn't. They're not. You're not going to be buddies. They're not inviting you over to their houses.
Is there
they're
an
literally
expectation though that they are? Like nobody's saying, "Oh, by the way, we're going to be
I don't know
long
what
time
happened.
lovers."
There's a huge delusion with many and misconception because people believe what they see on TV, that they think, oh, well, we'll have some sort of a bond, or I can come back and I can do this thing. But most people don't know how to navigate the waters when they get the opportunity, right? So my big thing is when I realized something was developing, I made sure I got ready. I sought the right help. I made it easy to find myself. I did certain things to put myself in position, and I made sure that I didn't just say yes to everything. I mean, I got offered a deal, one from a grill company and one from a knife company, that they would own me for life, and I would make maybe $10-$20 off of every grill. These are like $1,500 grills that they sold. It's like, yeah, there's no way. But I've seen people take those deals, and I'm like, man, you're stuck. Like I know what you signed. It's rough.
You get paid to do the show?
Oh yeah, you get paid, but you might as well.
What do you get paid?
Nothing. Like less than $80 a day. You get a per diem of $20 for food. And if you're doing television, your bet is to set yourself up. But these other seasons, they had it far better than we did. We couldn't wear any of our branded clothing. They wouldn't put our social media handle on there. They wouldn't put our website out there. We couldn't talk about any businesses we were doing. Now all that stuff's out the window. You know, we didn't get a press tour. Our media kit was one image and a hazy trailer. These guys are getting, far more and getting that release kit stuff to send out. But nah, you're not really set up for success.
Barbecue Brawl, Barbecue Showdown, both getting ready to launch within the week. So you got Showdown launching July 4th, and then you have Brawl launching a week from yesterday on the 8th. What are you telling anyone right now who's asking advice about coming on these shows?
I warn them that when they pitch you, because I've literally been on the phone. They don't know. I've been on the phone while the producers have pitched them. We're like, hey, even if you don't win, you could be like a Rasheed Phillips. And I've literally been on the phone and heard them say that. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. There's been 16 of us and only one me. Don't believe it. I also tell them, don't count on the show to elevate you. Just know it will shine a light on you for a certain amount of time, and have everything ready for when that light shines. If you've got really amazing products, get product photography, get them on your website. If you're wanting to be a personality out in front of people, have that, reel put together on your website and on your social media. That should be something you're posting every other day, so that it's constantly at the top. If you're wanting to make money, take the chance and go get an entertainment lawyer. Like get one for the hour. They charge by the hour. You can get several online in your area, and allow them to help guide you and structure everything. And most importantly, the first number is never the real number. That's just know that there's always something. And before you accept something for free, remind yourself that the person who's contacting you, they're getting paid to talk to you.
Yeah.
Right. They're getting paid to try to convince you to work with them. So you should probably getting paid too. Like Consumer Report, I'll put their name out there because I'll never work with them. But every other year, they try to get me to write a slew of articles for free. And every year I keep asking them, like, you're getting paid, right? Yeah. Then why am I not getting paid to do the work? I don't understand. You're not working for free. Why do you want me to do the same?
I mean, I hold the long proven out thought that for whatever reason, and a long time ago, even well before me, people just realized businesses in this industry, people will do shit for free. They'll do it for a skid of charcoal. They'll do it for a couple free knives. They'll do it for a free grill. And the companies have become so trained and so accustomed to be able to leverage large followings for zero cash out of pocket, product that they've probably allotted for in promotion anyway. So it's not a big nut for them to crack. And people have just become trained in the influencer community. Don't ask for money. Don't demand thousands and thousands of dollars when you can get this really cool $2,500 grill instead. And so they take it, and then it just continues to breed. I've always said, hey, don't take the free stuff. Tell them you want money. Remember, you're a professional when you get paid. So you make that money, you become the professional. And then, oh, by the way, you're helping everybody else out because now the new trend is being set. You're going to have to pay the people in the live fire industry real money. Give us the free stuff too, we'll take it. But we really want to get paid like the professionals we are. And until that tide turns, we're going to be stuck more in the way that we know and not in the way we want to be.
No, I completely understand and agree because there's no professional athlete playing for free. And I tell people this all the time. Look at this opportunity as an NBA contract. A rookie contract is 4 years. Every pro athlete is getting paid. You're trying to become a pro, you need to get paid. And I oftentimes flip it so that they understand what I'm saying. Hey, you are actually paying them for the product they gave you for free. What do you mean, Sheep? Well, you accepted that product. Now they get to move that value, that loss on over to the other corner on their P&L statement. And they now get money back because they didn't have to pay you, but they got money for it. I was joking. I was talking to another fire starter, and I said, if we ever got a union, if we ever formed a union, they'd be terrified. Because then we're all protected. We all have the same vested interest. A quick funny story. There's a pitmaster that has become a colleague and a great friend, and we're always chatting. And I once got an email, and I had to call him, and I said, "Hey, brother, did you turn down X, Y, and Z deal?" And he knows I was in IT. He's like, "Sheed, you hacking my computer again?" I was like, "No." I know about it because they just emailed it to the team, but our names are intertwined throughout the email. It's like I can see it was originally meant for you.
Oh, no.
And then there's some places where your name is still there, but my name's there. And he just cracked up. And he was like, did you take the deal? I said, yeah, because I know how much you cost. This is still more for me. This is a few years back. But yeah, they literally just shotgun emails and seeing whichever one can they get for cheap. I've seen them offer literally $5,000 with a $90,000 budget.
Wow.
Yeah. So the first number is never the real number.
Which channel has the better show, Brawl or Showdown? So Food Network or Netflix?
I hate to say it, but Showdown, because they actually have authority. The only authority on Brawl is Rodney, and they don't let him be Rodney enough. Versus Showdown, where you have Miss Cookston and Pops on there, and this season there's a myriad of other guest judges that are coming on, but it sort of reminds me of the old Scooby-Doo days, where it was always just Scooby and the gang. And you knew things were starting to taper off a little when they started getting those weird random guests, like when Scrappy Doo came around and Scooby's other cousins came around, and then the Globetrotters were getting there, and then there was a Gilligan's Island one. You're like, oh, okay, is this what we're trying to do now? So, yeah.
Would you do Barbecue Brawl?
Oh, no, I've turned it down twice. No.
Oh. This is post Showdown?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I turned down last season, and I turned down the season before.
What does it take for you to do a show in the future?
I don't think I would.
Period?
I don't. The type of show that I want to do doesn't exist right now. It doesn't exist. It's a lot of all of these things. Anyone can cook amazingly in $1 million kitchen. I've been in them. They're great. They can tune everything, right? All the gigs. Season 2, I designed the rigs, and some of my designs are in season 3 still. But I know fire. I want to do a cooking show where it is fire. Toss us a box of matches, a shovel, axe, a couple of fire tools, and let's cook.
You never been contacted by Andrew Zimmern to do a show? Ever?
I'm not.
That seems like it would be right up his alley.
Which is odd because he's worked with some of my buddies, the Foxes down at the works in Atlanta. But no, haven't been in there.
I might have to drop him a note. Seems like it would be a dead bank here. So, what do you got coming up here over the next couple of weeks? You like to promote?
Yeah, you can catch me. I'll be at Windy City Smokeout. Those guys were amazing. Tapped me. They want me out there, so I'll get to go light some fires through Chicago. After that, literally right after that, you guys can shoot over and catch me in Connecticut. I'm doing the Hartford Food Festival at Mohegan Sun. We'll be showcasing all week. And literally right after that, I'm leaving there to go to Compton, where I'll be joining Pops for the Smoking Out the Hub tour that is happening the 26th and 27th of July.
Wow.
On the road. And we will, I'll give you an exclusive.
Wait.
A Barbecue Central Show
I got something for that.
Exclusive news update.
Greg Grampy reporting from the breaking news desk here in Cleveland, Ohio, the city that breaks the most live-fire breaking news across the country, nay, the globe. And I am here with Rashid Phillips with some late-breaking news. Rashid?
Yeah. Last year I did my first Grill and Chill Fest. That was my own festival. We are doing it again back in Corsicana, Texas, October 11th and 12th. Wow. This is the first time we've announced the dates.
Wow. Look at you. Corsicana, that's a Pops destination as well, isn't it?
It is. It's right, literally right in his backyard. We're right on the waterfront. It's absolutely amazing. The site updates and availability and roster and tickets go live next week, but this is the first time I've said it out loud.
All right, give us the dates again.
October 11th and 12th.
All right. So those are the dates. You want to go. You want to hang out with Sheed, and you want to hang out with Kevin and all the great stars that are going to be there that are yet to be named, because that roster is going to be large and in charge. Anything else?
It is. No. That's it for now.
Oh, all right. Well, you can tune in to Rashid's weekly podcast, This Week in Barbecue, and you can visit his website, phillipsbarbecueco.com. Rashid, always appreciate the time, appreciate the candor, and we will hit you up again sooner than later.
Yes, sir. See you soon.
There he is, Rashid Phillips, right there. He's going to be in many places. So if I'm not mistaken, he was Chicago, Connecticut, Compton, and then Corsicana, Texas, in successive, some of that sounded like successive weekends, let alone successive months. So stay tuned and see what he has coming. And it's a lot. Before we wrap it up tonight, we will talk to you about our pals over at Franklin Barbecue Pits. What you have with the Franklin Pit, a deeply thought out and refined version of the old propane tank-style cooker that Aaron Franklin built for the Franklin Barbecue restaurant. Stylistically, it reflects the kind of bare-bones, industrial, handmade aesthetic that he loves, as in the patina and the way the build allows you to see the welds and the craftsmanship. Now, the schematics of a Texas off-style barbecue pit are relatively simple, even when the things happening inside reflect complicated dynamics of physics and chemistry. There are very few moving parts here. Numerous and massive differences divide this Franklin Pit and the average barbecue smoker sold in the big box stores. The Franklin Pit, primarily made of 5/16 and quarter-inch thick American steel, that's strong. Anything that sees heat is engineered to be incredibly solid, should last a century or more if cared for properly. The thickness of the steel guarantees professional-grade heat retention, which is a critical component to making great barbecue. Every Franklin Pit, unique unto itself, includes its own unique markings and its own badged number. Franklin Barbecue Pits can be found at fine barbecue specialty stores across select regions of the country. If you, the listener of the Barbecue Central show, happen to be an owner of such a store and you wish to become a certified Franklin dealer, don't wait. Head on over to franklinbbqpits.com right now and fill out a dealer form. If you, the listener of the Barbecue Central show, want to own a Franklin barbecue pit, but you don't live in a part of the country that doesn't have a certified dealer nearby, you can also visit the same website, franklinbbqpits.com, and purchase a pit. Franklin Pits will ship a Franklin pit to your driveway. Easy as that. And you got to wheel it up the driveway and land it somewhere. That's on you. But what you're getting is a well-thought-out, offset, lifetime pit, generational pit. Kids are going to be asking you about it, the grandkids at some point. This is something you can hand down from generation to generation. And again, if you're a barbecue supply company, maybe you're just getting going, you're looking into the pit side of things now. Certainly pellet cookers, all the rage, and the traditional charcoal-fired stuff. If you're looking to add offset pits to the group, check out Franklin Pits. I'm telling you, the silent salesman on the floor. I always tell everybody, when you become a dealer, order 4, keep 3 in the back, put 1 on the floor. Open up that sales circle. FranklinBBQPits.com. And we're back to wrap the show right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Let's get back to a guy who has more experience giving you his opinion than he actually has cooking. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
We thank Rashid Phillips for joining us last segment. A little extended time. PhillipsBarbecueCo.com, his website. If you go to the Windy City Smokeout, check them out there. Go to the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, check them out there. If you are in the city of Compton, check them out there, along with Kevin Bledsoe, legend. Been on the show once. Rashid, by the way, next time you're bending Kevin's ear, tell him we would love to have him back on the show for a segment. And if you're in Corsicana, Texas, he will also be there with the aforementioned Kevin Bledsoe and a bunch of others that are yet to be named. By the way, October 11th and 12th for the Grillin' and Chillin'. So we appreciate that exclusive. I don't know if he knew I had the exclusive sounder ready to go. But you know me. I'm ready. All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up all the way back in the first hour. Malcom Reed rejoined the show after a month off while I was international last month. Direct grilled ribs. Yes, I think so on July 4th. I think so. Then, first timer of the show, Al Frugoni. AlFrugoni.com. A open fire cooking master. One of one, as he said. Nobody's like him. I mean, nobody's like anybody, but nobody's like this guy when he's cooking. Second hour, Sam the cooking guy. That time flew by. I don't even feel like we got to anything I wanted to get to. That's about par for the course for us. And then closing out the show in a little bit of an extended segment, Rashid Phillips from PhillipsBarbecueCo.com. Big show planned for you next week. Second week of July, we got a meathead. We got Robert Moss. We got a bunch of other stuff ready to go, locked and loaded. Stay tuned for the shorts or the clips as they get released during the course of the week. Hour number 2 of this podcast, audibly released on Thursday. Videos will auto-archive immediately after we stop here this evening. So until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, this is your program host. Wait. So how do I always leave you? September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. And now, until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.
Hi, this is Bobby Rempe from Cleveland, Ohio, and you're listening to Barbecue Central.